Good morning. Happy Saturday. How's everybody doing today? Hope that this video finds everybody doing well. Welcome to the Save Money and More with Jan channel. Today's kind of a sort of a mixed bag discussion. First, I just want to mention, as far as locally, what a very weird week in the news. I mean, I wish I could just put it into words, and I can't. There's just so many things I'd love to say, but I can't. Let's just say it's extraordinarily weird, strange. This is just a strange place to be sometimes. I'm just saying. And when I say weird, I mean like in the craziest sense. Like, who do you trust anymore? Like, really? Seriously? And that's all I have to say on that matter, other than, oh, no, oh gosh, keep praying for better, and better. I hope everybody who likes better is praying too. So there you go. Okay. How's everybody doing today on this Saturday morning? I'm sure you're happy to hear those words, Saturday. I want to talk to you today about what companies call serving size or portion size. And I don't know if it's me. Maybe you may tend to feel the same way about this, but I think companies' versions of a serving size and a portion size is far removed from the real world. Now, recently I mentioned that on an oatmeal container, I have it stashed in a stockpile at the moment. I'm just going to leave it there. It says 13 servings, okay, for this oatmeal, and it's the quick oatmeal, not the one that's not the original one, not the old fashioned oatmeal. And it says 13 servings. Now, in real life, 13 servings for that little bit of a price, which is like $2 and change. That's a very good deal if it's really in your life. I look at it this way: there are serving sizes that are indicated on the box with the calorie count versus what you use in real life. This is the purpose of why I'm bringing this up. If we go only according to what we see on the package, well, I guess that's really good because you're measuring, you're portioning it out, approximately, not an exactitude, approximately the calories you're getting, and so on and so forth. But in real life, if a person has a canister of quick oats, are they really calculating how much they are using? Why is it important to know the reality of what you're using versus what it says on the canister? If you follow it to the letter, then you could figure out how much you need, right? But if you go according to how your family uses something, that's to me, that is the real point of measure in stuff that has sort of a loosey-goosey kind of thing. Now, versus oatmeal in a canister versus oatmeal that are portioned out into individual packets. You take out one of those packets, they tend to cost more. But if you take out one of those individual packets, that is absolutely considered a serving, okay, in the company's mind's eye. But here's the question: how fast, whether it's in a package like that, wrapped individually, or whether you're portioning it out, eyeballing it with the canister, how quickly does your family go through that item? Now, that's the key. That's the trick. Okay. So, like, let's say you're on a really tight budget. This is why I always recommend multi use food. What do I mean by that? Okay. Let's say that there's a frozen entree that's just a one time only. I'm not saying they're not convenient, and I'm not saying that they could be less expensive than eating out, for sure, in many instances, but it's only a one time serving thing. You have to figure out that, as opposed to, let's say, if you buy that one little individual frozen pasta, as opposed to buying a box of pasta at home, dumping it in boiling water, removing it from boiling water, straining it out, and adding your own topping, and you could get that much more servings. Now, as far as my computer went bluey for a second. I don't know what happened there. Hope it works. As far as like figuring out how much you need for your family, judge it. Let's say that you bought frozen entrees, the ones all done up, the rate that you use it at, and the price you paid for them, the unit price and so on, versus taking a couple of minutes when you have literally like a half hour to just boil water, add your topping, and put it in the freezer. When the holidays come, for example, I like to do things that are delicious and quick. I like to do a lot of make aheads. And of course, as the holiday season approaches, I'll be more in depth into that, as we go by, hopefully, right? Um, Making a long story short, the easiest thing in the world is to assemble a lasagna, for example. The easiest thing in the world is to assemble some baked ziti. Make it ahead. You get your 13 by 9s or whatever pans you're using. These are wonderful frozen make aheads, not just for the holiday season, but for your family. Suppose that, you have like a Sunday already planned out. You're going to, let's say, go to church with your family, right? Go to church, maybe stop off at a store after church or whatever, or visit a friend, for an hour, or go to a sporting event, or whatever the activity is, for example, after church. And then, one comes home like a little tired, or the tendency would be to go to a restaurant or fast food place or whatever. And instead of that, make it a fun thing, of course. If you have, let's say, a make ahead lasagna that you could just like your own, I mean, homemade, family style, the real deal, your stuff. And all you have to do is pop it in your oven. And then you can make a quick salad to go with it. To me, that is a no brainer. So when people complain about they don't have time, whatever, we can borrow time from tomorrow today. Okay. So let's say you have a rainy day and you're really not interested in going downtown and running errands that day. You may put it off to another day. Okay. I'm just saying. Then you could say, hey, wait a minute. This is a really good opportunity for me to put my make ahead meal, whatever that meal may be. I just use the lasagna thing as an example. And I've done that, okay, with baked ziti, lasagna. It's so easy. You're just boiling and assembling. What's the big deal? I mean, it's not like, okay, like I'm sure like my grandparents and great grandparents are probably spinning saying, did my great granddaughter say this? Heaven forbid. Using a jar of sauce. It is not a sin. I'm sorry, Grandma. You could get some really great quality sauces. And some are from the actual famous restaurants, for example, if you like those. Or you're just happy, with the standard stuff that is sold. There's one in a can that has a meat flavor. It's a national brand. To me, it's off the chain. You could always doctor that sauce up to your liking a little more. For me, gone are the days, although once a year or so, okay. It's funny. Once in a while, my husband will say, he'll, he'll say, well, okay, so, okay, how about on this weekend, we, get this, that, and loves cooking, loves to cook. Okay. And, I'm not saying I don't like to cook, but when it comes to that, like family Sunday sauce, that is truly reserved for a couple times a year, because his version is like, let it sit there all day. He's old school, spin it around the wooden spoon, put a little vino in there, sausage, meatballs, the kind of stuff that, let's say, I might have been weaned on growing up. Okay. But I don't care if I get a very good quality jar sauce. But even if you make it yourself from scratch, okay. So now here's where grandma will be proud of me again. So when or if we would make that Sunday sauce, I'll call it that, Sunday sauce from scratch, it's a wise idea to take that Sunday sauce and freeze it. I mean, make more so you don't have to, because some people are insistent that, you got to like sing some music and, take the spoon and spin around that sauce all day long. Don't get me wrong. The smell is very tempting. And I remember my parents like taking up half of a Sunday, putting it together. And it was amazing. It was fun watching them cook and everybody enjoying the meal. Sundays, every day is special. Don't get me wrong. But there's something inherently special in my mind's eye, the way I was raised, about a Sunday. People would have maybe a roast, Sunday dinner. They even called it that, Sunday dinner, because it was a day set aside for. But I don't want to backtrack too much. Let's go back to assembling. If you use, sorry, Grandma, if you use your jar sauce, yes, the bird clock. La, la, la. Okay. If you use your favorite, okay, sometimes I tend to say good quality, and maybe to someone else it's like, I don't see a difference, okay? But there are a couple of famous New York restaurants where they have jar sauce, and once in a while, they go on sale. And when you see that sale, consider it at least once to try. Okay, just saying. Okay, I'm not saying it could be expensive. I'm upfront and honest about that. But it's also expensive putting that other sauce together, like the mommy daddy sauce and husband type sauce, and just spin, spin, spin. That costs a lot of money too. Trust me on that. The meat alone. So maximize that if you make that. But if you're going to get the jar sauce and just like assemble, there's nothing wrong with that. Get the jar sauce. So all it is assembly. The only real cooking involved, in my honest, when you're making an assembled meal like that, is boiling the pasta. Now, if you're not in the mood, for example, of doing a lasagna, the layers, and there are like lots of ways people get around. They might roll up the lasagnas or whatever. Whatever you want to do, I don't care. Baked ziti is a great alternative. Okay. Penne pasta is a great alternative. It doesn't have to be exactly what our predecessors, grandma, grandpa, grandparents did. Okay. So you just get creative. Okay. Some people just want a vegetable sauce to go with the pasta, a vegetable lasagna, and that is delish and markedly less expensive depending on the veggies you use. Okay. And how much and stuff like that. Okay. And traditional cheeses are ricotta. Some people use cream cheese. I don't use cream. I stick to traditional ricotta cheese because that's what I was raised with. And I like it. Some people swap it out with cottage. And if that's what you like, hey, you know what it's all about? Whatever you like. But if you could get those things that you like, okay, and put it together, that is absolutely wonderful. I'm not quite sure how we ended up with lasagna and ziti, but there it is. What I'm trying to say is sometimes it takes a little time. We complicate things, okay? Now, for everyday ordinary use, here's just my opinion. Let me know how you feel about this in the comment section below. Working with the prepackaged mozzarella, the shredded kind, or cheddar or whatever, for like everyday use, yes, it's okay, it's passable. But for a Sunday or a holiday, I like to use the real stuff, the real one, okay, the one that you get to shred yourself, put it that way, or slice, okay. And has anyone noticed the absolute insanity price of fresh mozzarella? There's one brand, and I think they use it literally in Italy. I think that I love. It's like this little ball. It's like wrapped up in a little ball, and it's fresh mozzarella. It's so silky fresh, okay? Oh my word. I consider that a food treat because that price of that thing went up so badly. I'm not talking about those like sticks. I'm talking about fresh mozzarella. There's a big difference between the fresh, but let's do a comparison. The shredded one that's put in the package that's very very inexpensive. If that's what your budget allows for you to get, you get that. Okay. But once in a while, if your budget can allow your food budget can allow you to get the next upgrade, that would be like the block. Okay. That's affordable still. But that other one that I love, that is off the chain in price. What on earth has gone on with the cost of absolutely fresh mozzarella? Okay, so sometimes I'll back and forth to the block that's in an airtight package, but the block is still a big upgrade. Shred it yourself because the original, the I call it the cheap one that you could use like during the week, not for holidays, not for birthdays. No, no, no. This is my opinion. Maybe you just like that and you're totally happy, and that's okay. That's totally fine. Because I've noticed, speaking of mozzarella, the price range of mozzarella can go from the sublime to the ridiculous. But let's talk about overall convenience, okay? It is so convenient to do an easy to assemble make ahead. Even if you make your own meatballs, okay? You can make those. You can even do that in advance, okay? And put the whole thing together. I like to, when it comes to baked ziti or the lasagna, I like to make what I call mini meatballs. Okay, make a bunch of them in advance. It's no big deal, I'm just like throw a whole bunch of it over it, toss the whole thing in the oven, heat and eat. Make a salad while that thing is cooking in the oven, reheating in the oven. Put out my plates before. Well, you could put out you could set your table before you go to church, for example, on a Sunday. Set your dinner table then, okay? My family tradition was because we weren't permitted to eat before going to mass, okay? And so our tradition was no breakfast, whatever. Go to mass, go to church, and then we'd come back. And then there were some local bakeries. How many of you out there who observe like I observe? How many of you out there had the tradition of stopping off at the bakery, the fresh bakery, and mom and dad would pick up these amazing, amazing buns, freshly made, like that day, donuts, whatever. Nothing like fresh bakery stuff. Nothing like it. Then we'd come back, we'd have a little like brunch or maybe bagel, whatever it was, and then all of a sudden my parents would start getting that Sunday sauce ready. Okay, Sunday sauce, gravy. Some people say gravy. I say both. Um, Depends on my mood. And I remember my parents squishing together the tomatoes. I heard the rumor has it that my grandmother on my dad's side, the whole neighborhood knew she was awake because she used to pre-make her meatballs 5:30 in the morning and listen to opera. She had it all done. Okay, then she'd go to church. Then she'd come back and finish completing the meal. We could do things. We can make our own traditions, whatever our traditions are. We can enhance our traditions. We could also change our traditions slightly. So you don't have time for a 4-hour spin around all day Sunday sauce. Understood. I get that. I do. Get the jar. It's okay. It's not against the law to buy a jar of sauce. That's what I'm trying to say. How many people are getting hungry thinking about all that stuff? Okay. And a good quality, it always works out. Get some good quality, if you like it, Italian bread or French bread, crusty bread, semolina bread, whatever bread you like, whatever one. That with a salad freshly made, got yourself a wonderful, wonderful meal. I wonder how many folks out there are going to run out and buy the ingredients and make that sauce or a jar. There you go. It's up to you. Well, always nice speaking with you. Thank you for taking the time to be with me and talking. And I literally, I'm just sharing what I do. I literally pray for a better day. Literally. I pray for peace. Um, yeah. Anyway. All right, everybody. Thank you for your time. Have an amazing, fantastic day. Don't forget to, if you haven't done it already, if you really like my content, click like. Say it again. Click like so YouTube knows you actually enjoyed the video. There's no point in watching my video and never clicking like. Thank you very much for the view. But it has to be recognized. It's not about me and beauty metrics with the likes. I don't care about that. Me, Janet, I don't care. But they do. So, okay. Thank you so much. Have a great day, everybody. Take good care of yourself and your wonderful family, even if you use jarred sauce. Take good care. Bye-bye.